Take Flight with Freebird is a podcast where we interview successful business owners and innovators, disrupting and empowering the beauty industry with their passion and creativity. In every episode, you'll find a mix of inspirational individuals discussing their stories, insights, trends, and their latest tools. Hi guys, I'm Cam. Today we are interviewing Tyler Colton, New York City's hairstylist turned bar owner here in Reno, Nevada, who has worked on top celebrities, was a session hairstylist for over a decade, and has been featured in top publications. Hi, Tyler. Welcome to Take Flight with Freebird.
Hi, Cam. Thanks for having me.
Oh, gosh. This man, he is so busy. I've been trying to track him down for a minute now, and I finally have him in front of me, so I'm so grateful. Tyler, you have been doing hair for how long now?
Well, first I have to say we're in front of each other and with a cocktail.
Oh, yes.
Of course,
True
we're
this.
having
True this.
Wine. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yes.
What was the question? Already I'm like losing track.
Oh, I love it.
I'm drinking.
Well, true to form, us hairstylists, we have to start our days off in the right way with a good old drink together. How long have you been behind the chair?
Oh, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Are you allowed to cuss on this show? Oh, good.
Did you forget who you're talking to?
I know. I've been doing hair, God, I want to say 27 years. It might be a little bit longer than that.
Wow. Are you still practicing?
I occasionally, okay. My staff. So I am celebrity freelance hairdresser turned bar owner. I don't want to say I left the industry. I just kind of left some parts of the industries. But anyways, I moved to Reno to make it happen, kind of blow up my career, which we can get into and discuss all about that and why I did that. But one of my staff members came in and she had cut her hair shorter and she's leaving on the sabbatical for 3 months. And I looked at that hair and she's young and I was like, no, you can't. She's like, what? I was, no, I have to fix that hair. You're too cute. And so
oh my God, you're so cute.
We had bar cuts the other day. So I was like, okay, you come in at 12. No, so what about me? I need a trim. Okay, you come in at 12:30. So
how
the
funny.
bar's
You're
mimicking as my hair salon. I got to keep my staff looking beautiful.
Yeah, you do. I mean, that's
so
your first impression.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Whether you're in the salon or you're a bar owner and you're still around beauty and you enjoy that, then I'm still going to make them beautiful.
Absolutely.
They have
and
to
you
look
can't
great.
be a hairstylist and have bad hair behind your bar.
No.
I mean, that's just not going to happen.
No, they have to be cute.
They have to be cute. So I have to know, I mean, wow, what an incredible journey. And I have to tell you, bucket list here, and you don't know this about me, but I want to be a bartender for one night. Like, I just want to shake that shaker.
We should do, because there's a lot of bars we do like guest bartenders.
Mm-hmm.
So we should do a beauty one, and we can have some hairdressers
I
come
would love
in,
it.
and then you basically bring your friends in to order drinks from you, and then
Freebirds, let's do it. Let's go.
So then the money though that you generate, or a percentage of the money that you bring in, then goes to a charity.
I love that.
Yeah, so you
let's
could come
do
in
it,
and
Tyler.
you could get some Reno
I love
locals
it.
and
Yes.
stylists, and we'll do a
Let's do it.
beauty bar.
Beauty bar. Let's do a beauty bar.
And then all the
Should we
money
do
can go
blowouts?
to maybe.
I don't
Some
know.
of the blow dryers are kind of loud.
Good
It would
point.
be better with like curling, or maybe just getting
I like that.
a coat of nail polish or something.
Just something to kind of round it out a little bit.
Yeah, but it's
his
more
bar
about
is, oh God, I love his bar so much. The Emerson here in Reno, Nevada. If you have not been there yet, go as soon as possible.
Midtown Reno, 955 South Virginia.
It
or the
is.
emersonreno.com. Look us up.
That's right. That's right.
There we go. Our guilty plug.
Oh, we're going to do it again because
we have
it
to
is
keep
so
building the
amazing.
business.
For sure. So what got you started in the beauty industry, then led you to where you are today?
Let's do my story as quickly as I can do my story.
Okay.
Basically, I had actually left New York City and moved to Los Angeles. I think I was 22 at that point. And
how long doing hair at this point?
No hair at this point.
Okay.
No, I had been an assistant in New York. So back then, so this is like the 80s. So back then, no one was checking for licenses. And one of my friends her brother was a top colorist in New York. So I just was an assistant in New York, had no desire to do hair.
Wow.
Was probably going to do something else. Went to LA. A friend went to Sassoon, and she came home and she was showing me some of the haircuts. And so I picked up the shears, did a quick, she goes, here, let's see if you can do this. She showed me like a revolve or just like a backed graduation, like a stacked back kind of Sassoon. And I was like, cut it. She goes, oh my God, I spent all day learning. And like, you just whipped that out in 2 seconds. She's like, you should just do hair. And so by this point, I was so frustrated of being told how my hair had to be. I was working a lot of front desks at hotels, and I thought this was going to be a dancer.
You're 22.
Actor.
You're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So then I thought, okay, I met all these hairdressers. And so I thought, okay, I can go get my license and I can work at a $10 haircut shop back then, and I could have a skill and I could travel the world. At least I had a skill. And that's what I thought. So someone came into my beauty school his name is Doug Kirkpatrick, and he was with Paul Mitchell at the time. And he came into
Any relation to Cameron Kirkpatrick?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, sorry.
And then
I took one of my mentors in the industry Patrick. Yes.
Patrick.
No. I may be getting the names wrong. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Kirkpatrick. Sorry.
So he came in, and then he was with Paul Mitchell, and I kind of he helped me. I started doing stuff with him with Paul Mitchell's and assisting, just going behind the salon to understand that and becoming like a part of the associates program. But then another guy, Dennis Hoey, came in, and he was looking for a B kind of film he was doing, just someone to assist him. Yeah. Okay, by this point, I'm like super cocky. I have no idea because I feel like I have nothing to lose because there was nothing invested.
Sure.
And I said, okay, if I'm going to do this movie with you, because he was more of a makeup artist, and he needed someone who could do hair, right? But didn't have to be that great. And so I said, okay, I'll do it, but I need the hair credit. You have to give me the hair credit.
I love that so much.
Okay, so he did. And then I had the big kind of break was one of our friends. Living in LA, everybody was like in the business on some level. So a friend said, do you want to do a model test? No idea what a model test is. Everyone nowadays knows what a model test, new models, they need pictures. So you do a test with them. So I did this test. And the photographer turned out to be an art director, and she was art directing this video. And she's like, I can get you on this job. I love what you did, And at this point, I learned that at that point, there was agents that represented hair and makeup people. The entourage didn't exist how we did then. And so I learned how to do hair and makeup because celebrities only wanted to take a person with them. There wasn't this entourage. I learned about agencies. I learned about having to put a portfolio together, the same as the models, to present your work. And so I started doing test shoots. And so she got me on. We lied. So all my portfolios had been sent out, and the production company trusted her. And my first music video I ever did was REM Losing My Religion.
No.
Yeah. And it was like world premiere, the whole thing. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I was like, and so that kind of, like I was bitten by the bug, this bug of like, oh, I have to be in showbiz
this is magic.
On some level. Yeah, and it was the most money I'd ever made. I think I made, honestly, then it sounds crazy, but I think I only made $500
that was big,
for 2 days or something. And it was like $250 a day or something, and it was 12-hour days, but it was the most fun I'd ever had. And they kept saying, and this is one of the things that I would tell people that, so listen up. They asked me, could I bleach out African-American hair, and this black guy, and they needed his hair blonde. And, I was still like in beauty school at this point. And so I said, they're like, can you do that? Yeah. And they're like, oh, we need it. One of the characters has this toupee on it. It has to keep being pulled off and reset it and coming off. And can you do that? And we're going to need some wigs. And I hadn't done any of that.
Yeah.
I was just
You're in
doing
beauty
hair.
school.
And
also, remind you, he has an apprentice at this point, really that long. I mean, you assisted someone.
Yeah.
Moved to LA. This is all new.
Oh, yeah.
Everything he's saying is new to him.
Yeah. And so, but my mom was a hairdresser, and I was always around hairdressers. So I knew about hair, but not on the level that they were asking, nor ever doing a music video my entire life.
Oh my gosh.
So the thing
and the one you did.
Right. So the lesson that I'd like to share with everyone is, one, fake it till you make it, but say yes. I said yes to the opportunity. They said, can you do it? And I was like, yes. Back then, there was no internet. I had to go to the library, and I was looking up all the ways of like how to make a wig, how to do a toupee, how to bleach out hair the right way, like asking questions. Like I just figured it out. And then I would test on friends. I would like get wigs, and I would put it on a friend, and I would practice before the job was coming up. And still today, I think, that's what one of the big things is, like, even you have to prepare for the job. So you should still be practicing, whether it's your friends or your doll head, your mannequin. Just because you got out of beauty school, there's still wigs. We still have wigs. Get a wig head. Get beautiful synthetic hair that can have heat on it now that exists. It didn't use before. And they're really affordable, so you can practice. And they're cheap, so you can chop up those hair and those wigs and burn it and do everything. And
what great advice. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, don't give up. You're practicing for the role.
That's right.
And you're waiting for when the moment comes, you're prepared.
You're acting as if you're working to be. You are trying to be more, and you're getting into that future, right? It's rebranding yourself. It's who you're trying to become, who you're working to be. We're always evolving as artists, especially too.
Spiritual. Well, the thing is, then you have to. I believe in a lot of Eastern philosophy.
Oh, me too, by the way.
So it is going, hey.
Yeah.
I envision this for my life.
Yep.
And
Manifesting
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Yep.
Manifesting it,
Yep.
making a mantra every
Yes.
day. This is my intention.
I'm grateful I
setting
get
my
this
intention
opportunity to try my intention or, work towards it.
Or towards your
Yes.
intention. And then setting your intention and knowing it's in the back of your mind and you've set it and you've placed it and then you're just working to build every day toward that moment when it can happen for you.
I love that because I think too many times, especially, Tyler, I'm trying to I have to tell you, I think we get lost in this day and age of the 21st century and how easily everything is readily accessible and how we learn things and how we do things and YouTube and education and so forth. But the grit, the willingness, the ambition, the courage that it took as a new artist really, you do have an advantage, your mom being a stylist, because you have
not really,
not
really, not really. Okay, not really at all. So my mom actually was a hairstylist, like in the '60s in Las Vegas, and she did all the showgirls and everything.
Oh my
But then
gosh.
she got married and stopped doing hair, so she didn't do hair from the '60s until the '80s, till my parents got divorced. So when she was like, okay, I'm going to go back to doing hair after they got divorced. She didn't know how to use a curling iron, a blow dryer.
Yeah, they were still setting everything at that point.
All these tools, so she had to learn. So I actually taught my mom things
that's
in stylist
really
in
cool.
her salon. She was always amazed. But the funny thing is, when I look back on it, like my mom was balayaging before anybody that was a thing or like that it became so she
that
was always
freehand.
She would say like, oh, take the color and comb it through the hair and you can just put it in places and do this and and we'd be like, no mom, it's got to be like
you're
this.
like, mom, it's got to go in the foil, it has to be like this, it has to be thin mom, you have to see that.
No, it wasn't even thin, it was like these thick
That's
chunks
true.
and all this and her techniques were, she was like spot on,
Wow.
but
that is
it was
interesting.
the time and it was just the time, it was just completely different and no one was ready to hear that.
But I think it's something that is a lost art of appreciating because we are very fortunate for beauty professionals who are operating behind the chair today, and you have the exposure of Instagram and Facebook and connecting with a wide range of.
Well, you have so much. I worked for Schwarzkopf for many years as a platform artist, as an educator, and each year the level of talent and people coming through got greater and greater and greater because they were learning much more. They were faster, and they were inundated with how to balayage, like what formulas to use, how to create better up styles to bring vibrance to the hair. The products got better, where when I started, that didn't exist. So they're so smart, these kids already. Sometimes it was not what I had to teach them. It was what I had to share with them about my life experience, which only takes living a life in this business. That's what I had to share more. Like, how do you get an agent? How do you reach your goals? How do you keep a steady, consistent business? How do you become a business owner?
How do you brand yourself?
Grounded? How do you brand yourself? How do you do a website? What to do and what not to do?
Yes.
What are the right ways to approach something so that you continue to have longevity in this career? The ergonomics of standing and really cutting properly, because some of that you're not seeing so necessarily people talking about.
It's passed over.
How do you save your back? Like I heard, your back's not great.
Yep.
And it's like,
I'm not behind the chair anymore because of it.
Yeah. And so it's like, how do you learn how to take care and honor your body at the same time and cutting hair really well and so.
Well, and I'm so glad that you bring that up because I think it's something that can go overlooked too often is people are the outcome, right? They just want to fill books. They just want this busy day. They just want to be this, celebrity stylist. But a huge, And
there's a lot of people who they want to say, I'm booked, I am a celebrity stylist, or I'm this, but they don't think about the truth of the long term of that career.
Yes.
Or that life. Yeah.
Yes, and I agree with you.
Which is fine.
Which
is fine on some level, but you have to just say, okay, well, each time I'm dealing with this client, how should I be coming off? Like I've watched stylists just snap and treat clients so poorly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I know. Me too. I'm with you.
They're only going to stick with you for so long.
Yeah, and your first impression is, and this is something that I like to always touch on with our Freebirds as well is, what is your impression you're giving, not only in person but online, because you're up against talented artists. There is not a lack of talent out there. It's simply they're coming back because of the relationship you're building and the human connection, and obviously your outcome and your skill, because that's equally as important. But one thing that, I'm curious your take on this, because I'm torn on social media, and it's funny that I'm the founder of a tech company, right? But the reason is I believe that there's a beautiful marry, and allowing people to be able to do both in their own way is it should be, right? You should be able to do it. But that being said, I built my business across the country as a traveling stylist, word of mouth. I'm not a celebrity stylist. I'm not anything, I'm not saying I am anything, but I just word of mouth. My clients referred me out. I had X amount of people. I had to go. In New York, I had X amount of people. I went. I worked in LA. I was recruited there. I went. And so I built all of mine off of the relationships, the networking, and things like that. And I think that's a beautiful way to go. And then I meet professionals who really are focused on the social media component and really engaging that way. Not right or wrong, but
I don't think there's right or wrong.
I don't either.
And the thing is,
but what's your take is more
they actually go hand in hand.
Agreed.
You can't.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
social media is a way to get yourself seen by a larger audience, and then once that you meet that audience in person, because someone inevitably has to give you a contract, hire you, do something, then you build that relationship.
That's right.
And then that relationship, and so there's plenty of people who are on social, and then they meet somebody, they do a gig with somebody, and they're not going to work with them again.
Yes.
Because their social was fraudulent. They didn't perform what they were going to say, or they just aren't a great person.
Totally.
They haven't developed those social skills or how to actually interact. It's like they've lived behind a social media presence. Then it's the ones that become super successful who have built a great social or amazing when you meet them, and they perform and give you everything you want, and they're going to continue to grow.
That's right. And
you'll be discovered. If you're just hiding behind Facebook and you're using filters and doing everything and not posting the truth, eventually you'll be found out and you won't have longevity.
100%. And I think that there is something to be said about marrying those two really well and how you use it. Always remember that the online game is your first impression and validation as a professional.
Oh, yeah. You can't go.
No.
I
We're
started
in the 21st
so
century.
late at Instagram and all of that. I hardly have any followers, and it's like, and it's needed in this day and age because I was like, oh, this isn't a thing, and you start to realize like this is everything now.
This is now a new way of business.
It's just the way it is.
That's right. Yeah. And so we certainly like to embrace it as well. And I'm just so curious because I believe that with 80s, 90s, right? And when I came out into the industry, it's far different. 11 years later, like we didn't have Facebook as on point as we do now. We didn't even have Facebook yet. It wasn't even out. Then Instagram wasn't even close to out. So all of these things, I kind of came up in the old school mentality of you sit, you grind, and you hope your books get full and you network and so forth.
And you still do.
You do.
But on top of that now, I will say you still have to do all of that. And on top of it, you
now
have
you're
to have
a photographer.
Instagram. Yeah, you do. You have to
and
have
you're
Instagram,
a lighting expert.
And you are. And you should be.
You should be.
And half these kids grew up that way anyway, so they already experts without
and I'm
even
so grateful.
thinking about
but
it.
you know who my heart goes out to is the older generation who, maybe they're still growing, right? Because we can't assume that everyone, because they're the veterans in this community and they're still going, because we have to be realistic in the range of the industry we're speaking of. And I work with a lot of professionals who are in that baby boomer range that they can't grasp this technology if they even tried. And it's understandable because they didn't grow up with it like the younger generation.
That's a choice, honestly.
Oh, and they are. They're the ones we work with are.
That's their choice if they're not going to grasp the technology. And that's the thing about the beauty industry in general. You have to stay young. You have to stay relevant. It should.
I love that about it, to be honest.
You young.
Yes, it will.
If you stay interested, and that just goes for life in general. If you wake up every day interested, and you want to learn something or do something, then you're going to have a better lifespan.
I agree.
You just continue to grow. If you wake up and you're complacent, then you're the person who did fall behind in techniques. You're the person who did fall behind on social media. You're the person who fell behind because you just didn't want to be relevant.
Agreed. And
you
also,
weren't interested,
too,
maybe
not. And also, too, is be open with yourselves and know that you're going to have low points and you're going to have days when you want to hang up your shears out there. All of you beauty professionals out there. I mean, there are so many days, but the truth of the matter is go back to what makes you love this industry and stay eager to learn, stay eager to go out there. When was the last time you took a class? When was the last time you woke up uncomfortable? I read this quote recently and I'm like, ooh, I'm going to keep this. Not necessarily a quote, more of a statement. But the book that I was reading, the gentleman said, every morning I wake up, I gulp. And I'm like, ooh, that's a bold statement. Like, he goes, I don't wake up thinking, today's going to be a nice, easy day. I wake up knowing that I put something ahead of myself that's going to challenge me and really push me outside my comfort zone. And that has only been beneficial for me. And listening to your career and your story, it sounds like it's been the same for you. So after LA and you now,
well, like, so
you have to kind of paint that a little, right?
I gulp every day, but
For
I don't
sure.
think of it as gulping. Nope. It's just my personality or how I am. So I go to LA, go to beauty school.
Sure.
Find these people who are like, okay, you're doing this music video. Next thing I know, I get an agent.
What did an agent look like, right? Like that agent, not everyone even knows what that looks like.
Yeah, to
what
have
did
an agency?
Yeah. What did that look
now
like for
or
you?
then?
Well, no,
or
for
in
you,
general?
your story. Like, what did that look like for you then?
Oh, no, I didn't know. It's a person who takes bookings and gets you things. I had no idea, and I had a portfolio, and I was like, okay, so now I learned I got a portfolio. I got RAM helped me get the music video, helps me get more images, and
like I have something to put in there.
Yeah, here's the show you, and then one gave me a break, and so I got a break. And then one of the hairdressers at the agency, she was doing the hair for Roseanne, the person on the show.
Mm-hmm.
They were looking for supporting cast. He calls me and says, oh, okay, your book went to Roseanne. And I'm like, oh, you're fucking kidding me. It's like, right? And then he calls me and he says, okay, you booked the job. I'm like, what? So then I became the hairdresser on Roseanne.
I mean, how cool, Tyler.
Yeah.
I mean, you said yes.
Yeah,
you said yes.
Yeah, I said yes, and I was like freaking out. I loved Sandra Bernhardt. So she was like, she had come out with a movie at the time called Without You, I'm Nothing. That's still, I love. It's just so witty and amazing. So I didn't even think about it though. So day one, Roseanne, first person in, Sandra Bernhardt sits in my chair.
My
and I was like, oh my God. I'm going to be, and I kept thinking, I'm going to be a fraud. I'm going to be found out. And I don't know if I think that probably this younger generation, and I don't know, you can tell me if you ever believe this about yourself or coworkers ever thought this. I always thought because it happened so quickly for me and the industry was changing so quickly and we were in the time of the supermodel.
Yeah.
That I was going to be found out, that I was a fraud. I didn't know what I was doing. And it took me a really long time until I started educating with Schwarzkopf that I realized I did know what I was doing and how to articulate it. But for the longest time, I was going to be found out I was a fraud. And by this point, and mind you,
you already been working on Roseanne.
Well, I had an agent, yeah. And then this point, so now then it's like I did Cosmo and GQ. And
what if they found out now?
All these different celebrities, and I just kept doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I was working with Nordstrom and Macy's and Talbots and Target and every big brand across the country and going around the world and tours and Avril Lavigne and Sarah McLachlan and, like everybody and Luis Miguel. And I was like, oh, I was going to be found out. And then at some point, I just realized like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I held on for a really long time, and I don't know for that.
I have to tell you, I'm going to just share it with you so you know. I have the exact same, it's almost imposter syndrome, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately, so a little backstory, I came from a very small town, moved to a big city, started building my clientele very fast, had over 500 clients, and I'm like, I still was feeling like I was figuring out what I was doing, right? At this point, I'm 5 years, 6 years behind the chair, but I still...
you still are after 5 or 6
years. You really are. You're not. You really are. And honestly, I'll tell you that I rounded out my skill set and my specialty probably year 6, when I really, I had found it, but I had not, I really started refining it year 6, everyone, year 6, and that's still pretty fast, maybe, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It's each of us are at our own pace.
And that's just doing hair.
Yeah.
That's not even saying, oh, I'm doing hair and I run the business.
Nope.
And I'm doing freelance and I've conquered
running
this,
social media, running.
This. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
like, I'm just finally comfortable behind the chair.
I'm confident that I should charge what I'm charging.
Yeah.
That's where that gets. And even then, though, I have to tell you, I think maybe only until a couple years ago when I was in LA and I was up against a lot of challenges. I had already had my skin tested, the thickness, all of those things. But LA really will put you to the test. And New York was even more comforting for me than LA,
Yeah,
and
I enjoy New York.
I love New York. I actually prefer to do hair in New York far more than I do in LA, and which is so funny, but I think I just like the people. I like how direct they are with me in New York, and I love that. So I think that's probably why I was drawn to you. I'm like, yes, he's a New Yorker, but I struggled with imposter syndrome and understanding my worth, and that I knew what I was. Oh, microphone dropped, guys. Sorry about that. I was very concerned about that as well, and then also too but my outcomes were fine and everything kept turning out really great. I never apprenticed. I was this really good colorist. All of a sudden I became an educator for the salon. I was moving up very fast, and then I was hated because my fellow coworkers were like, she's been here a year. Why is she going to a 10 grand class to be the educator? And I didn't know. They just asked. And I was so excited, but I couldn't even enjoy that excitement because I didn't feel worthy that I should be the stylist going. And, and then it was time to raise my prices. And I'm like, how do I do this? Right? I love what I do, and maybe I'm getting better. It's just this constant battle.
The other thing is when you are enjoying it, it's really hard to want to charge people a lot of money for something you're actually enjoying. And
That's right.
I totally suffered from that, where I'd give away haircuts and clients that I loved, and I'm like, oh, whatever.
The emotional discount.
And yeah.
Yes.
Like I was such a sucker for it
Me too. And it wasn't, and honestly, I don't think there's a magical moment, you guys. I really don't. I think you just learn to like yourself. And no matter what the outcome, for me, that's what it is I just knew I was doing what I loved. And as long as I entered into every single moment, whether it be this podcast, whether it be the head of hair I was working on or the conversation I was having with the person, is I went in with the best of intentions and from the right place in my heart. And no matter what the outcome was, I couldn't have gone wrong. That's what I had.
I think that's for everything.
Totally. That's my mental checklist.
Right?
So for sure. Because I'm like, are they going to think that I'm not this good of a colorist? And I worked among 30 stylists. So there's talent everywhere. And
but
LA,
that's the beautiful thing. You watch all these other stylists and you learn and you grow and you help each other.
Isn't
and you
it
find
beautiful,
the right
though?
place. And
but I was worried I'd be found out. As I'm in LA working at the exclusive salon of LA Fashion Week, and I'm up against all of these incredibly talented. I thought they were going to just look at me, look at my foil. But
everyone
everyone
is
feels
judging.
that.
I mean,
of course they are.
Look,
of course.
I had worked with Francois Nars for years doing makeup, and Lena Caro, who's his like right hand woman.
Totally.
So 2 seasons ago, so I had done Marc Jacobs with them way back in the 80s during like fashion, like the height of the supermodel. And so then I just did the one 2 years ago. So with Lena said, oh yeah, come do it. We need you. Like we need more people. Come do it. And so, but it's all the same people. And so I rolled in and they're like looking at who I am because I'm saying hello. I'm so chummy with everybody and they didn't know me very well. And because I hadn't been part of their team on some level because I really wasn't doing makeup. I'm just doing more hair. So I went and did makeup and they show you what the makeup look is, and so I do makeup and then Francois is kind of looking at everyone, and I take I walk my model up and like oh, beautiful Tyler, gorgeous, gorgeous, and everyone's like, who is this?
I love that.
And
yes.
it's just like, okay, great, move on to my next one.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I think also too is
there's these weird little validations that just go, oh, all right, I still got it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's so funny though, is I think it's healthy to have that as well. It's always that it keeps you humble in the industry.
But there's always a little like nervousness. You still have a little nervousness. That's what keeps you. I think that's what it is right there. You can know you're scared of something or nervous around something, but you still do it anyway.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah, that's
Feel
what's
it.
doing it. Wait, so then you touched on something I wanted to say.
Oh, yes.
So even though the industry is everything it is, and people might be wondering, like, why did I leave the industry? Sure. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why did I? But when I started, there wasn't the entourage. There wasn't a million hairstylists getting in this. There wasn't a million social media. And the thing that's changed all around for fashion is the fast fashion has really killed some of fashion. And especially the designers. Now they used to do 2 collections, then it was 4 collections, and it was a resort. Now it's like 6 collections of the year. They're getting burnt out. You see like Marc Jacobs closing stores down, ton of designers closing stores, quitting houses. They can't keep up. And so for me, being in New York, everything was great, but all the fashion brands and everything started turning into corporate, and we were monitored by being the digital media. Like when we started, and they could watch everything and timing us, and it just started changing so much. And then
that passion wasn't there necessarily
and then
anymore.
We were getting jobs. My agent would call and just say, okay, hear me out, and every time we started hear me out, it was like, okay, this isn't
you're
good.
Like, I'm not sure I want to.
And so it would be the ask would be, okay, there's no money, but it's social media with this big artist, and they'll do pictures for you. And I just started thinking,
interesting
I thought, this is crazy. So I'm not getting paid now to do what I do, but I need to get more socials from having this celebrity on my social media.
It's almost another form of currency almost.
So I could get an ad or something or a brand, And I thought, this isn't fun anymore.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
for me. But that was me from where I started.
Well, that's
in
the
80s,
point
early
right there.
The 90s to now. And so this generation has a different perspective of how they do it and what they're enjoying. And it's fun for them.
Yes.
It was just different for me.
Well,
so
it's
for
just
me,
a
it was time to
striking
get
contrast, And I think that's a good point. And I'm glad you brought up why you've stepped away from the industry.
I'm doing only bar cuts.
I love that. But, and that's the thing, too, is it's not a bad thing either with transitioning in the industry or out of the industry. That's something to be mindful of as well, is opening up yourself to the yes moments of where your passions take you. For Tyler, it was the moment that he wasn't as fueled or as inspired as the industry was taking its turn. And there's nothing wrong with that. But
the other thing is a lot of people like you we're not a lot of us just love doing hair, and that's all they want to do. But for many of us, there's more to us. You want to start a brand, you want to build something, you like clothing, you like interior design. And so how do you take the risk? Like you're like, okay, I don't want to be behind a chair anymore. I want to own a tech company. I want to teach and I want to educate more in a different way.
I want to help more people. Yep.
Yeah. And so how do you take that risk? How do you say I'm these
That's right.
things?
That's right. And you have to say yes. You take the risk and you put in those moments and those gut moments, those moments we're talking about where it's like, ooh, are they going to find us out? That's really just your courage saying go. Like it's the truth of if you know what you're doing and you're just taking those extra risks to grow yourself or your career, good for you. Keep saying yes and feel that fear and do it anyway, because I promise you, I guarantee Tyler and myself both never expected us to be sitting in front of each other and not meeting in a hair salon. Like
in Reno.
Yeah, in Reno, Nevada.
Never.
Neither of us ever imagined being here. Just so you all know, this was not the place, and I am loving it.
I love it.
This
is, oh my gosh. Probably in the early 90s, I got this horoscope. I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Sagittarius.
I don't know anything about science. I only know that Gemini is a creative sign, and people go, "Oh, you're a crazy person.
You're the evil twin."
Yeah. So I got this horoscope, and I think it was probably out of Elle magazine or something. I only read fashion magazines, so it was probably at Elle and probably 20 years ago. And I still kept this horoscope, and it kind of goes something like this. Basically, it's like the greatest risk in life is to have never risked anything, which then is the greatest failure.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
And it was like, oh my God, yeah.
Yes. It's the truth. It's the truth. If you never fail, you never have the opportunity to really learn or know. It's crazy. And I always share this one story.
Oh, yeah. Risks must be taken because the greatest failure in life is to have never risked.
Oh, I love how that was like right there. That was in that word bank right there.
Yeah.
No, it's so true. And I mean, the striking comparison of what the industry looks like today, even from myself 11 years ago and yourself in the 80s and 90s, it's very interesting. But what I love most is these moments where veterans, different industry walks of life are coming together to say, hey, this is how I did it. Do you use the technology, use the advancements you have, but make sure you're finding your passion. Make sure you're chasing those yeses and you're doing those things. So that being said, throughout all of your wonderful experiences, Tyler, I mean, God, globetrotter everywhere, all over, what kept you excited? What did you love about that experience?
Oh, God. Okay. There's so many things to like and so many things to hate.
Oh, both.
So the great was I was the person I used to be, maybe not so far anymore, but I used to love Mondays because on a Monday the agency would open back up and calls would be coming in, and at any point I could
all
get
the
a
new
booking.
bookings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're gonna get on a plane, you're gonna go here, and you're gonna and do this, and all of that then ends, 27 years later, where it's like, oh God, please, I don't want to get on another plane again. Oh my God, I hate getting on a plane.
Yeah.
So what was the plus that I loved was travel and going everywhere. It's like, oh God, I would start getting pits in my stomach when it's like, oh, I got to get into another cab, go to JFK or Newark and just sit and go to LAX and just like these flights, even though it's like, oh, I had lifetime status, you have all the miles. It's like, it's fine, but it's like, it just takes a toll on you.
Soul sucking a little bit once it's not
a little bit.
Once it's not the fire anymore that keeps it burning. I think.
Well, everything changed, but that was like one of the beautiful things. Meeting the most amazing actors and writers and athletes. And
the creatives.
These creatives that have lent something to our world and given it something that will like exist forever.
Made an impression on all of us in some way.
Well, like Sarah McLachlan.
Yes.
Her song Angel.
Yeah.
Like a person to have, like she's one of my most favorite clients, but to have a song that is going to endure probably like a legacy.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, to be able to work with people like that and just different Olympic athletes and to be on the TV's Roseanne that like changed the way we saw television on some level and the family dynamic and to be part of that. So those were all great. But then here we are, fast forward, and it changed to now I'm doing reality stars. It's like they call them the upfronts. You go to the upfronts for like NBC and all the different things when you're like, oh, I An American, and the little TV spots you see with the celebrities. Well, you go with your team, you get them ready, and they do all the different things. And now it's like you're doing reality stars, and so so
there's really no, I mean, I love Hollywood glamour. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the whole component of sharing a story and this glam and the rolling out of the red carpet. There is something about that is truly
for me,
lost.
it was that, but it was not even that. It was that I was working with artists, and now I'm
That's
working
what I mean.
with personalities.
That's exactly right.
And it's completely
There
different.
was a whole package here. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They had
Yeah.
to do a lot to keep this repertoire and this.
To become famous. And
You had to be
really
actually
contribute
famous.
to the arts.
Yes.
Yeah,
trying to create that persona a little bit, you know, because something that's lost is, you know, the Grammys aren't even looked at as heavily as they were once at a point in time.
Oscars tanked. No, wait, what was just on the Grammys?
Yes.
It just had like the lowest rated reviews.
Isn't that sad? And this is like people working so hard. And this is where
because truthfully, I'll say it. I feel like that all of those accolades, the Emmys, the Grammys, the Tonys, all of them have become, maybe not, maybe the Tonys too, become so patting themselves on the back in industry. They even have nominations for the best show. Like the Oscar can be nominated for an Emmy for a best television show.
What?
Yeah. So all the shows that
you're like, what is this
all
now?
the award shows are actually can be nominated for best director, best show, best thing. Yeah. It's just like, that's even weirder.
So and you know that really almost takes away the allure of them being the pinnacle of like succession for these actors because they were the ones that were setting the tone, not looking to get the award.
Yeah.
The
other thing is everything isn't super glamorous like it used to be in the day. And
do you know what I saw
recently? And everyone can be seen.
Athleisure. Athleisure is 60% of the fashion market now.
Yes.
And that breaks my heart so much because
that breaks my eyes when I have to go to the plane and I see all these women in these tight spandex that shouldn't be getting on the plane, like torn
when they bend over.
It's like just
that always cracks me up. I'm like,
stop.
sweetheart, if it's see-through at home, it's see-through
see-through
on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always think this as I'm on planes. Like, and speaking of travel, which is so funny because I'm a gypsy by trade. Like, not by trade, but I freaking love to go everywhere. I will roam if the wind blows hard enough. That's why when you were telling me all these fun little places, I'm like, I've been too much on the north side. I need to go down there now. I haven't been over there, but because all of like Truckee and North Lake Tahoe, those are where.
If you've ever been to Reno, Tahoe area, it is really beautiful. Tahoe's gorgeous. Truckee, Virginia City. There's like a little bit of.
Well, you're talking to
two
city lovers who have been traveling for their careers.
And I can't say like, oh, I'm super in love. Like I miss New York every day, but you don't have to ever leave here.
Yeah.
You've got 4 seasons and you've got things to do outside.
Agreed.
All year
and
round.
the people are
It's
really
beautiful.
wonderful.
People are really nice.
They really are. And I will say, in all fairness and all
the
truth,
food's great. There's a good food scene. There's a great craft cocktail scene. There's a great brewery.
Oh, the brewery scene too. Yeah,
amazing. It's booming. The river, floating the river, going to Tahoe.
Oh my gosh, Tahoe, Donner. Oh my gosh. And also too is like that's the thing that is for me it was hard as a career hairstylist is coming into this silo market of Reno, Nevada before I started Freebird, before I had any idea that we relocated here to be close
There's
to family.
a lot of money here.
There's a lot of money
do you know
here.
that Apple's management. I love we're like supposed to talk about hair, but instead we're talking about
we're not
Apple's
talking.
money management is like based out of Reno. China's second largest bank.
Yes,
is
Microsoft's third largest office is here
in Reno,
and
it's because we have no sales tax or no tax.
Yes, and also too, what's crazy about Reno is you can almost get any walk of life here. That's what I love is there's a different bar. There's a different,
and just by the way, if you guys are listening to this, Reno isn't anywhere close to Las Vegas.
No, it is not.
It's not even like Las Vegas.
No.
It's completely different.
North-south.
Think more like Portland. We're like a little Portland or booming
We're a high
Austin
desert Portland, Denver. I always compare us to Portland and Denver.
River. So we have that's why I see either Austin.
Yeah, Austin's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's dry climate here. It's
dry.
It's beautiful. Nice. And that's one thing though that it's been a pleasant surprise for myself being here as a professional because I'm going to tell you right now, the people I've met here are so wickedly talented and
there's so many talented people here.
They
it's
are
really
getting nominated left and right across the board. And I'm
there's
like,
a lot of beautiful, amazing makeup artists, like
hairstylists,
with
all
big
of them.
Instagram followers.
Huge.
Doing really great hair. But that's anywhere. That's in any
That's
city
exactly
now.
right.
It isn't like how it used to be where it was
the small towns.
in LA or New York and the small towns where they weren't
but you know what is
because the
the
information
salons.
is available now.
The salons. That's the big difference. And that is something that is interesting to see here, and I have to tell you, Reno's game is really stepping it up. I've been into quite a few that.
That's everywhere. All these small cities really stepping up.
They really they're trying to, but the problem is, I think this is true across the board. Not problem, opportunity, right? There's no problem. It's an opportunity, but they're coming up with all these glitz and glam opportunities of their salon looking like the larger cities, without the education or knowledge of the know-how, how to get there, right? So they're coming from hairstylist to, I'm going to be a high-end salon owner. And that is such a big leap that's huge. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's do that. Go for it.
All right, so if you've kept tuned into this point and you've chopped and you came back, okay, so here's my advice. So I went to beauty school. I got a career. I got an agent. I did everything. I owned a salon in West Hollywood. I worked at Serge Normant Salon in New York City. I said yes to all these opportunities.
You are amazing.
But the thing is, you have to want to keep working and growing your business. And if you want to become a session stylist or you want an agent, so here's some of the things. You have to probably first assist. You're going to have to either go to New York or LA. You really are still. You can start in a smaller market, but you have to probably go to New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago, maybe a little bit of Atlanta, maybe Miami.
Dallas is actually pretty good too.
Dallas is better because they have Neiman Marcus there.
Yeah.
So you can get an agent. But first getting an agent is find a hairdresser or someone who's represented.
Yep.
So go on their website, find who you love. Like I was with Artist Group, and so you can go kind of still with, I don't know, my agent. Anyway, so I was with Artist Group. So you can go to find artists that you like. Send them messages. See if they need an assistant. Contact the agencies. But if you're going to contact the agencies, make sure you have a website. No one wants to see a portfolio. They want to see a portfolio.
Yep.
They're not looking at images. They're not going to look through your email. You're going to send a link. They're going to click on your link.
Yes.
Make sure when you have your website, it's easy and concise. It says who you've worked with, what you've done. If you have 10 great pictures, put 10 great pictures. If you only have 5 great pictures, put 5.
Yep.
Don't put 40 mediocre pictures.
Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Quality
yes. Just
over
like
quantity.
Just like sex life.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes.
Choose
yes.
quality over
Cheers.
quantity. So then really dial in your website. You have to have it. Dial in your Instagram. So if you have Instagram, have your personal, have your professional, completely separate, and make sure you pick a tone and a direction. And make sure if it's just 10 great pictures, again, but have it really dialed in. Have a link to your website. That's what an agent and somebody who's going to hire you is going to want to see. So have that ready. Okay, now you get in with an agency, you get a meeting with an agency. The thing is, they're going to tell you, if I call you to do a job with somebody, you have to say yes. If you ever say no to me, we will not ask you to do it again. So you have to be ready and you have to be available. The other thing is when you show up on set, look nice, look put together.
Be a professional.
Be a professional. Be ready to help. Be ready, eager. Don't just sit on your phone 24/7.
Look for ways to help. Watch people. Listen. One of the greatest experiences that you can have in this industry, one of the very first fashion shows that I ever did, and being able to work with incredibly talented artists after that, my first one taught me everything I needed for the rest of them. And it was that moment of being willing to be observant, to be able to be humble and watch someone else. Like, don't worry that you're going to be looked down on or that thought of that you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, wait, okay. No, that just clicked. So the other thing is, okay, so now you need to do a photo shoot. You want to get pictures. You want to build up your website. Know that you'll have another photo shoot. Choose a direction for that shoot, okay? So you're going to pick a theme, whatever it's going to be. It's like, we're doing winter white, or we're going to do dresses on the beach that are flowy, whatever it is. Just do simple hair for that shoot. Don't change the hair for every picture, the hair and makeup. So many people want to do that because they
don't want it to look the same.
Yeah, I want to show you everything I can do at one time. That will sabotage you. Just pick a direction and just do a slight change, whether you're adding a little bit of a lip or you're just simply adding a little more texture to the hair or just
tousling it, flip it on
something.
Yes.
Simple.
Yep.
And that your shoot is done.
Yep.
What
do you say? It's confidence.
Less is more.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, less is more. Yeah. And the most simplistic hair and the most simplistic makeup is actually the most difficult to do.
It is.
So learn how. And the other thing is you have to realize that hair, what you put in the salon and when they leave, you don't kind of really get to see how that hair lives. But when you're doing a photo shoot, that hair has to live anywhere from 8 to 12 hours.
Truth.
So use less product.
Yes.
Keep it really simple. Know that you're going to have to continue to manipulate that hair without probably being able to wash it. So don't go in and start throwing all this product in here that you maybe don't know a product, that you're putting too much, that less definitely is more. So don't try to give me everything in the kitchen sink. Really dial in what it is you want. Just do one shoot. Know there'll be another one. And slowly build your portfolio that way and all your Instagram pictures in the same way.
I agree. I 100%. And I love that advice, Tyler, because there's such beauty and simplicity. And I think that when you are on the outside of that type, but when you put it into perspective of 8 to 12 hours, I mean, when you're working models.
People don't think about that.
No,
they
don't
think that this model is working. You're with this human being touching that hair.
This human is having to sit there
day.
and literally be a model. I know that kind of can sound glamorous, but you guys, they're poked and prodded for hours. And we're not gentle, because we're moving fast and we try to be as gentle as we can. But that tip of beauty and simplicity, start out small and work your way up, is so huge. But also to something I think people
and here's the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another thing.
I love this.
Do the hair for your shoots and even in the salon that you love.
Mm-hmm.
If you venture out and you do something and yes, you should try different things, but if it isn't in your wheelhouse or what you enjoy, or you have passion around, don't put it in your portfolio, because there's so many times I'll put something in my portfolio and client will go, "Oh my God, I want that."
And you're like, "No,
and
that's
it's
not what
"Oh
I
my
like
God,
to
that
do."
was 2 wigs. That was this. And it's like, I don't like building those. I don't want to do that. That isn't.
I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to.
Well, that's not the work I enjoy doing. So do the hair, the color, and everything that you enjoy doing, and put that as your portfolio, so that you're booked on stuff that you're really passionate about. And if you love making wigs, have it wigs for days. Make it look amazing.
Love it. Well, and he brings up a really good point here is you need to showcase the talent and skills that you want to attract, right? So if you're putting up men's haircuts, if you're putting up, short haircuts, and you're not wanting to do that as your repertoire, it's like we were saying, you're building who you're becoming, right? So you may
you're
not
building your brand.
That's
if
exactly
you want to be
right.
a men's barber, men's haircut, and you're a sexy woman and
that's right, baby.
Like groomers, some of the groomers in this industry. So if you're a groomer, groomers, and when you have an agent, the groomers do the men. They call them groomers. So if you want to become a groomer or you want to develop a men's clientele, then put up men's
That's
pictures.
exactly right. And that's what we teach at Freebird too, is really encouraging them to know their love, their vision, their passion, so that when they are working on their personal brands and their online presence, that they're attracting what they want. So be aware of that. But also,
you have to know that goes right back to the beginning. Set a mantra, set a goal, set a
manifest it. You got to bring it out. And the other thing too is that I think that is always overlooked is the time involved, the time commitment of getting these quality things together. So Tyler, someone who's been very well versed in the fashion, the photography, all of these things. Photography, hair, and makeup go in sync for Tyler. Okay, so that is something that is so natural. He could probably put together one of the most beautiful shoots because of his experience. And there is weight in gold here. But as a professional behind the chair every single day, trying to be the multifaceted professional that we have to be today, it takes time. Schedule yourself. Set yourself up for success. If you want to have new content and quality content, set up a day. Work with a local photographer. Work with models. Like Tyler said, simple, beautiful, and have a direction for your shoot. But that's something that a lot of people, they're just trying to take these pictures behind the chair, and they're thinking that's how everyone's getting these shots. This illusion is still there, right? And the truth of the matter is, they probably have 2 or 3 ring lights. They probably have someone helping them.
Yeah, that's it. However, the salons nowadays are super cool. They've got
that is great.
Backdrops. They've got the ring lights.
Yes.
They've got everything going on.
Yes.
They know how to take great pictures. They have it all set up. If they know they have a client coming in that's a
but
big
you know
transformation,
that so many people don't know how to do this still. This is the hardest thing, right? Is all of these people who are trying, the ones who have figured it out.
It's all about lighting.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It just comes down to the lighting, and that you don't have to put so many filters on, because it's so obvious if you're using filters that hair or that color. Just color. Usually the filters are manipulating the color.
You're going to see that blunt edge if you don't have the lighting properly, because the shadows will
that's okay. Here's another thing. Know that, which maybe a lot of people don't. It's like if you have dark hair, that you're really looking at a silhouette. You're looking at a shape, versus where if you have lighter hair, you see the movement and you see the texture within the hair. So if you've got someone with dark hair, don't try to throw a ton of light on it to help show your beach waves on that hair. Unless you've got some little honey highlights or caramel highlights or something breaking it up, it's not going to show.
Nope.
don't photograph that hair.
No. And stylists translate what you learned for coloring process into lighting process because
exactly
it's
right.
the exact same
How does
thing.
it reflect?
That's exactly
reflection?
right.
How does hair reflect?
Yep, exactly where you place the light, that is where it's
and
going.
How's it going to look in the image? And know that the same way. It's like, oh, I have dark hair. How can I photograph this after? How am I going to finish this hair? Maybe it's just going to be super sleek and super blunt, high pony, something that's just like chic and easy. And then I've got this blonde that comes in that's really light. And it's like, oh my God, I'm just going to create this very fluffy texture on this hair to finish it that way for her and get a freaking gorgeous
Well, and get
picture.
excited about your work.
I know,
get
look,
excited.
I still get excited about it. And here's
too.
my problem. I have this love-hate that I've left the industry, but I'm like,
I know.
It doesn't exist in the only. It's a more like doing hair anymore for this industry is more like a passion project. And that's coming because I know what it was, the industry was before. So these young kids going into it now, it's fun. All the celebrities still exist. Fun. You're going to have a great time.
Yep. And you're going to understand their language because you're in it.
The
it's okay.
proximity to celebrity and different people you meet and where you get to go is amazing.
Much more accessible now. And it is amazing. Yeah. And, we certainly like to give you full spectrum of all of our experience so you can find yours in the middle.
And it doesn't matter where you live anymore. Nope. So you can live anywhere. You can build your portfolio.
Yes.
In the end, you will probably have to move to a major city, but you can build it where you're at and then choose to leave because you have to go where they live.
That's exactly
right.
And
all the brands.
That's exactly right.
So the brands live pretty much in New York and Los Angeles and some little cities in between.
Well, they're the fashion pioneers, right? Like we all look to them as, those are our beacons of what's coming in from London and Milan and, all of those things.
You go to Paris, you can live. I lived in Paris. I lived in Australia. So you
so
can leave and go
my
to
bucket list,
country.
just so all of you out there who are creating your own bucket list, for me, I never knew what I wanted to do in the industry, right? I just loved helping people and making them feel beautiful. And color was a challenge to me because it was like, oh shit, it could go sideways on you or it could be. And I love the chemistry component of it. So I am a color specialist. I love it. But it was just so interesting as I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, and how I wanted to create that. And there was no right or wrong way to do it. You just get there. And you just need to make sure that you're passionate about it and having fun with it. And know that what we're saying is just what the quirks and the fun things we've learned along the way. But enjoy it. But be kind and really make sure you're passionate about what you're doing.
Touch on something you said about that. So
I love it.
While you're doing color and you're doing your formulations, this is a mistake I made so many times, and I still see young stylists and stylists in general do it. Client comes in, and you kind of looking like, they're level 5, they're level 6, they've got like regrowth, they've got orangey band, they want this. It's a correction. Or they want more of a vibrant red or something. Sure. And so you ask another stylist. You have an idea in your head. But then you ask another stylist, like, what do you think? And then all of a sudden, you've muddied what is in your head, or maybe not. But
you muted your creativity.
Or you just didn't trust what your instincts were. At least if you did what you thought it should be, and it comes out right or it comes out wrong, you learned from the formula you had in your mind versus trying half your formula and half someone else's formula.
Because you're always going to wonder.
Then it will always be a problem.
Always.
Most often, it's like, I'd rather make the mistake knowing that I made the choice than I know what the decision was, how I got there, and then how I can shift it and change that.
And also mentors out there, listen to what he's saying, because I think a lot of times as we're busy and, you have an apprentice walk up to you and say, hey, I have this idea, or you have another coworker walk up. It's very common for me as I travel in between my salons for this to happen. And let their brains think. Ask them what they're thinking first. Don't immediately put your input on it, just to let their brains think it out. Because a lot of the times creatives are looking for a safe space and an open soundboard to let their thoughts come out. So just like what Tyler said, do your thought. Do your thought, You
just need to say it out loud, and then you're like, okay, I got the answer.
Yeah,
Never mind, don't say anything.
And also too is, I promise you, I've had coworkers walk up to me and they've asked me, hey Cam, can you help me formulate this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, first of all, what are you thinking in these things? And before you know it, they looked at me and they're like, I got it. And I'm like, I kind of thought you would, and the thing is, you're just trying to help, and you're trying to, I'm like kissing this microphone. I just want to be all over it. But the thing is, we want to help. We want to be these things, but lead them to their answers
and it
to
goes
help
right
them.
back to the beginning. We'll take it full circle.
Let's full circle this as we're wrapping this up. Yeah.
Is that you just have to say yes, and you have to trust your instinct and just follow your instinct, and it's never going to lead you astray, and you will have learned I don't believe in sin, and I don't believe in mistakes. Everything that we do in our life is a learning lesson to take us to where we're inevitably supposed to be.
Tyler, have you been reading my journal? I literally say life is a series of experiences
I would
to take on to the next
one. If I could lay next to your
one.
husband and read the journal.
I mean, isn't he cute?
Gorgeous.
Oh my God, I know. I chose well. I mean, our babies are just
all right,
drop
free
dead.
birders. Thank
All right,
you.
we're out of here, guys. Thank you so much. And if you want to see Tyler over at the beautiful Emerson Bar, Tyler, tell him where to go.
Oh my gosh.
Tell him your plugs where they can go check you out.
The EmersonReno.com, the Emerson Reno on Instagram, Tyler Colton Hair if you want to check me out, my life, and come to visit us.
He's
in
a
Reno,
really cool
in
dude.
Midtown, 955 South Virginia.
All right.
Reno,
Thank you,
Bye.
Freebirds. We had such a great day. Bye, Tyler.